This is the lecture notes for the atom part 2. The periodic table is really important for this part of the lecture. You will need to use it, and we are going to explore through this lecture why and how the periodic table helps us determine the number of protons, neutrons, and electrons. So for a quick review, an atom is composed of 3 subatomic particles: the proton, the neutron, and the electrons. Now, what you didn't know is that the periodic table actually tells us all the pieces of information that we need to know in order to determine the number of protons or electrons or the number of neutrons. So here is oxygen, and this is what you will see on your periodic table for oxygen. First and foremost, you are given the atomic number. You are given the chemical symbol, the chemical name, and finally you are given the atomic mass. Now the atomic mass I will abbreviate as AM, and atomic number I will just put A and number or hashtag. We're going to focus first on the atomic number. What's so important about the atomic number? So what is so important about the atomic number? Well, it tells us the number of protons. The atomic number is equal to the number of protons. And each element has a different number of protons. This gives the number of protons is what identifies the element. So for example, hydrogen has an atomic number of 1. Therefore, it always has 1 proton in the nucleus of an atom. If we were to look at oxygen, oxygen has an atomic number of 8, and so it will always have 8 protons in the nucleus. So just a quick reminder, a neutral atom will always have equal number of proteins and electrons. Now that we have talked about the atomic number, let's go look at the significance of the atomic mass. What is so important and how can we utilize this number? So first and foremost, I need to let you know is that the atomic mass helps determine the number of neutrons. And one thing that you need to be aware of is that the number of neutrons in the nucleus can vary. So if we take the image below, these are images of hydrogen. But the key thing here is that they all have different numbers of neutrons. So protium has 1 proton but no neutrons. Deuterium has 1 proton and 1 neutron. Tritium has 1 proton and 2 neutrons. They all have 1 proton, meaning that they're all hydrogen, but they are called isotopes because they have different numbers of neutrons. So that's a vocabulary you need to know here. Now, in order for us to determine the number of neutrons, you need to take the atomic mass and subtract the atomic number from it, and that's the number of neutrons. So, to quickly summarize this, the atomic number helps us determine the number of protons, and in a neutral atom, the number of electrons. And the atomic mass helps us determine the number of neutrons by taking the atomic mass and subtracting it from the atomic number. You were given this problem in your packet, so before you complete it, I want to show you how to fill it out. So the first part is you are given either 2 pieces of information, either atomic number, atomic mass, or atomic mass and protons, or other variations, but you should be able to determine the number of the number that's provided in that you need to provide in the spaces. So let's do lithium first. So lithium has atomic number. And we already said earlier that atomic number is the same as the number of protons, so I can go ahead and write 3 here. And it's also, in a neutral atom, it is the number of electrons. So I can put 3 here. But in order for us to determine the number of neutrons, we have to take 7 minus 3, because it's the atomic mass minus the atomic number, and the number of neutrons should be 4. Now, what if instead you weren't given the number of protons or the atomic number, but you were given the electrons? So let's look at potassium. Here I have the number of electrons. I said in a neutral atom, if you have the number of electrons, it is the same as the number of protons and your atomic number. And again, in order to determine the number of neutrons, you need to go from 39 minus 19, and you should end up with 20. All right, go ahead and take time to complete this, and we will go over the answer key in class.